and welcome back to Asian Pulse. I'm your host, Shivangni Naiker, and thank you for tuning into Asian Pulse Television. June is the first day of summer, and with the new pandemic protocols and guidelines, we can enjoy outdoors with 50 people gatherings outdoors and inside homes. Restaurants will be open, and traveling within BC is also open, but the Canadian and U.S. border will remain closed until July 21st. I'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated. I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated. Buying or selling a house is a difficult process. Get Brent Prakash from Saba Realty Limited to find you your dream home, whether it's your first house, upgrading, or investment property. Always at your service with a fast, friendly, and honest opinion. Brent Prakash will guide you through the entire process. Get in touch with him today for a free, no-obligation consultation at 778-840-5866.
It is an our extreme pleasure to have an exclusive interview with Sergeant Frank Jang. He is a spokesperson for IHIT. His face has also been seen on TV in terms of homicide. We are lucky to have him before he is assigned to another position.
So, hello. Today is my extreme pleasure to be bringing to you the person that we all see on big screen TV in your homes, on TV. And today I'm going to introduce you to Sergeant Frank Jang, media spokesperson for IHIT. What does IHIT stands for? Is Integrated Homicide Team. And it's one of the largest homicide investigation unit in Canada. And this gentleman is a spokesperson for that. And he has been with our CMP for last 29 years, 9 years as an investigator or as a detective, but for last 4 years as a media spokesperson. So welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
So it's so nice that I could bring you, and you are not busy today.
Yes.
We don't know for how long. Talk about what your day is like.
My days are pretty full. And in fact, when homicides occur, unfortunately, they've been occurring far too often in our community here in the Lower Mainland recently. It's go, go, go. It's nonstop action. In terms of my work with media, my phone doesn't stop ringing, unfortunately. And when homicides occur, in the early hours of the morning,
yes.
2, 3 in the morning, my phone, it still rings. and I still answer them because everybody understands when there's a murder happening in the community, it's big news. Everybody wants to know what happened. Everybody wants to know that they're safe. And so it starts at 2 or 3 in the morning, and it continues all day, even into, spilling into following days. It's a lot of work, but it's important work.
Right. So whenever the murder happens at 3 a.m., there was one happened in Bannaby not too long ago. So physically, when you are reporting, do you physically have to go there? So media is there, and you can talk very much, but you have to physically be present on the location.
Yeah, we try to be. I try to be, because we understand when there's homicides in the community, especially, I'll give you an example, in Coquitlam and elsewhere in the Lower Mainland, there were recent homicides that happened in public places, in broad daylight. And that's very concerning, not just to us, but to everybody who lives in the area. And so there are moms, dads, children there, and they want to know what happened in their community. So it's more effective for us when we go to the community. And it's our community as well. When we go to the community and we speak not just to the media there, but also to the residents there. And so we try to be there where the crime occurs.
So I was going to say that recently they were names of the drug, I wouldn't say dealers, but these were the people that they were publicized in the mainstream media, and there were about 11 of them. I want to get your feedback, and I think maybe whether your department did it, I hit, or CFSU team did that, doesn't matter. You both work in hand together. What strategy was that, so that you want to put the message out to the neighbors that these are the people that you need to watch out for? Or did you want to shame them? So if you are in that field, you say, no, I can't be on TV as a drug dealer. I need to get rid of that and come clean now. I had my days, and now it's time for me to exit. What was the strategy?
Well, it wasn't IHIT strategy. What you're speaking of is just recently the Vancouver Police Department.
Okay.
I believe they released some names that they felt were a danger, a threat to public safety, and so they had reason to release the names and the photographs of, I believe, 6 individuals.
Yep.
And I believe the CFSU BC followed suit with their individuals soon after that.
Yeah.
But I also remember about 4 years ago as well, I believe it was Surrey RCMP and perhaps other, maybe it was even the Abbotsford Police Department. They, at that time, released their own list of people that they felt that the public should know about because they posed a significant risk to public safety, not for themselves, but also for people around them. So, it wasn't our initiative, but I think the thought behind that was, and I know shaming is a word that people have thrown out, but the number one concern for us is public safety, is the safety of our citizens, of residents. And when we have information, credible information, that these people have been involved in activities that would perhaps bring violence on themselves and their friends, restaurant patrons, anyone that's around them, I think the public has been crying out for more information from the police, saying, who are these people? Because if I'm happen to be dining next to them, I don't want to be around when there's violence, right? So public safety is the paramount concern for all of us, and I think that's probably why they did what they did.
The next question I'm going to ask you, that maybe you might not have to do it, but there are so many people, I don't know how many people or members belong to your IHIT team, that when the middle of the night, when you have to go to their house and knock at the door at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., and just break that news to the parents that your son or your daughter, for that matter, is no longer here. How painful is that?
Yeah. That is what you just described, Camilla, is the toughest roles that we have as police officers, as homicide detectives, and I know you appreciate the work, that role, given what you do as well. But what you just described was far too many days for me when I worked in homicides and for my colleagues. And let me just say this: whether your son was involved in gangs or drugs, or whether they were known to police or not known to police, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because when you're knocking on that door on Mother's Day at 10 p.m., delivering the news that her 19-year-old son will never come back,
He's no longer here.
He's no longer here, whose body was riddled with bullets only a few hours ago by an unknown assailant. That's a different kind of pain, different kind of grief. We often call it a complicated grief. And it's a type of pain and grief that I can't fully understand.
Yes.
But that's the kind of grief that so many parents out there are experiencing. And this is the part that gets really lost in the gang violence, the gang war. I hate that word, but the gang war, right? And people pay so much attention to the gangsters, the flash, the vehicles. They don't see that the pain that the moms and the dads, the aunties, the uncles, the grandfathers, grandmothers are experiencing. Because that kind of pain is generational. It's not going to go away. It's not going to it'll never go away, right? Quite frankly, we need to take care of those people because they're lost in all of this conversation. Their pain needs to be acknowledged, and we need to do whatever we can to help them. Yeah.
I was also going to say those kind of parents or mom, dad, whoever opens the door, find the news, they need to go for counseling. My heart is just breaking right now.
Yeah.
At the same time, they lost their son. And for the police officers as well, they are human too. And the impact that they have. So do they have some kind of a clinical supervision, or you can take a day off, or you have to go talk to somebody? Because these people, even though you may be in uniform carrying guns, looks very glamorous and all that, but under that suit you are wearing or the clothes, you are also a father, you are also a brother, you are also a husband, that you also live in that pain and the impact that it has on you guys as well.
Absolutely. I would say this about police officers in general. In general, police officers are a resilient group.
Yes.
I think when we go through the process of becoming police officers, that's one of the things that they look at.
Yeah.
But as you said, we're all human beings.
Yes.
And after a while, these things wear on us, and that's why we ourselves, as detectives, as police officers, we need to talk about it as well.
Yeah.
And it really does strike us when we meet the family. I think when we're at the crime scene, when we're doing our work, when we're writing judicial authorizations, it's a process.
Yeah.
And we know it very well, and we just kind of do it. That's our job. But when we walk up the steps to the front door, and we ring the doorbell, and there's a woman, there's a man, and their family, and they have no idea what's coming. The news that's going to change their lives and the lives of successive generations of their family come. That's a powerful moment. Yeah. And that's when, that's the human moment that really gets to us. And we have to take care of ourselves. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And sometimes when the little kids are there, oh, the policeman, or there is a police car outside, and let's see what they are there, what do they want or something, you know. So they get excited. It's not like little kids, you can stay in your bedroom, or just mom and dad will hear that and they will deal with that, but it's nothing like that. I was also going to say was, because we are talking, this is not something that we take it very lightly and we talk about this, but I want people to understand what is this doing to the family. And when the police are saying, if the guy is shot, okay, this dealer who has been in the field for a while, and you know there are so many different gangs going on, I don't need to know, but then when a person is shot and killed, and when the police officer says, oh, he was known to the police. Can you tell me what does that mean when he was known to the police? Did he have a previous record, or you had run-ins with them?
Right. Known to police. There's no further risk to public safety. These are terms that I think as police we throw out there so often.
Yes.
And the police, or pardon me, the community, they've caught on to it.
Yeah.
And one of the comments I get actually from neighbors or just even strangers, they said, hey, what does known to police mean?
Yes.
And I get that. And the term known to police it's just an easy way for us to say that we don't believe that it's random.
Okay.
That there was a reason that we believe that this person was killed or harmed. Because the number one thing people want answered is, am I safe?
Yeah.
There was a young person killed at near the Cactus Club in Burnaby. Okay, that's terrible. But am I safe?
Yeah.
Can I go there? I work there, or I live near there, right? Is this somebody out there just randomly spraying bullets, killing people at random, or was this somebody who, had an argument, right? Who believed that somebody had a reason to kill that person? I know to families, they don't care, they've lost a loved one, but to members of the public, it's an important question that they need answered.
Yeah.
So, and because of privacy reasons, obviously we can't go into
Yeah.
the full criminal record
Yeah.
and all the police interactions. So we kind of keep it at known to police. And the reason being is, look, we don't believe it was random.
Yeah.
When we check that person's record, we believe somebody wanted to do harm to them,
Yeah.
right? Because he had these police interactions, maybe a criminal history. That's why we say known to police. I know it doesn't satisfy a lot of people. They want more information, but for now, that's the kind of, we leave it
You
at
want
that.
to leave it at that.
Yeah.
And as a spokesperson, and like you say, you are the spokesperson for the I Hit, just in Canada-wide and in Metro Vancouver and everywhere else. So you have to be so careful what to say, what media needs to hear. Just give them as little as possible, and the rest we need to do our own investigation. And when everybody is ready to speak up, then we will be able to come back on the camera and speak about it. But for this moment, you just need to know this much, because you have to be careful what we are telling them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
You don't want to be sued either, right?
we certainly don't want that. But I think and let me just say this, because that's often a criticism that comes my way, and to other police media spokespersons as well, is why don't you provide more information?
Yes.
Why don't you? We have to understand that, and this is another term that we throw out a lot, is the integrity of the investigation. Well, what exactly does that mean? It means that we have to be careful in the information we put out there, because, for example, there may be witnesses that haven't come forward, and if I tell people out there that it was a red car, and it happened to be a metallic brown, for instance,
Yeah.
and that's in the minds of a potential witness,
Yeah.
now I've just tainted that person's version of events.
Yeah.
So that's one crucial reason, because ultimately what we want is for the person to be arrested, to go before a judge in a court. And when we protect the integrity of the investigation, we are protecting the integrity of the prosecution, right? So I know people aren't going to see the inside of a courtroom, right? People want answers now on TV. But what I'm thinking of, what my colleagues are thinking of, is we know years, maybe months later, the killer is going to be inside of a courtroom, and the judge, defense counsel, and crown counsel, they're all going to argue over who knew this information,
Yeah.
right? And if they say, well, Frank Chang provided it to everybody back on such and such a date, I could be in a bit of trouble,
I know.
for sure. Yeah.
And that case might not go anywhere.
And we don't want that.
No, you don't want. And how many cases I know there are quite a few, but there are a lot of them got solved or get solved in time, maybe a year, 2 years, 5 years. And there are some cases in homicide that could be 20 years old, and people still need the answer to that. The case is not closed, but how much time and effort the detectives are putting into that to satisfy that family that is waiting. Who killed my son 20 years ago?
So the older homicides, I can tell you, not one single unsolved case at homicide gets closed, gets boxed, gets put away. There is no statute of limitations for murder, for
Okay.
homicide. So it's always open until it gets solved. And we have a dedicated team that looks at the older, more historical cases. And, every homicide is different, right? Every victim of homicide is different, but there's homicides where they involve, for example, members of the same household, siblings, or spousal, romantic, wife, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend. Those in our experience are, I don't want to say easier, perhaps maybe less challenging. The evidence is more available in those types of isolated type cases. It's the homicide investigations where we believe that it's gang related, involving organized crime, and those types of cases usually involve several individuals, not just the shooter, but also people who are complicit. We've seen vehicles being burnt, right?
Yeah.
There might be people conspiring, planning, not necessarily the people who are actually committing the offense, but the people who are behind the scenes, putting up contracts and basically devising the plan to kill that person. So those ones are a bit more challenging because there's a lot of planning involved. There's a whole group involved in that.
And
But-
people have moved, the neighbors have moved, and it's been so long, people's memory sometimes are short. They cannot be good witnesses. Who knows what?
I'll say this about the memory, though. Nobody ever forgets about a homicide.
Okay.
Not the police, not the families, and the people who are involved, they never forget.
I'm talking about the witnesses, though.
Oh, and the witnesses, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say even the witnesses, maybe the memory kind of gets a bit not so sharp with time. But the people who are involved, because we eventually catch up to them, we arrest them, they remember that moment.
Yeah.
Nobody ever forgets about the murder. Never. Yeah.
Okay, seems like we're running out of time, but what is one message, those people that are watching you today, and I feel really honored to bring you, and I have a lot more questions, I'm going to bring you back. It's not
Thank you.
over yet.
Okay.
So what would you like to say to the people that are watching you
Sure.
today?
Thank you, yeah. If I had one message for the residents of the Lower Mainland, the viewers out there, it's this. We cannot solve homicides on our own. It takes a community to solve a crime such as murder. It takes the police. It also takes the residents in the community to be our eyes and ears. If you saw or heard anything suspicious, you need to call us. I'll throw out our number. It's 1-877-551-4448. That is the IHIT information line. You'll always hear of us or me say, do you have dash cam video? Dash cam video seems to be something we throw out a lot these days.
Yes.
I'm not just saying that. It is becoming crucial in our investigations. It takes a community. It's not just us. Okay, we're all one team. Okay.
We all are together to be able to bring justice to that family or the child that the mother lost. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sergeant Frank Jan, for your professionalism. We'll miss you seeing on TV. 50 Women's of Options is raising funds to build 100-bed low-cost housing for women who are fleeing abuse, homeless, or that need support. You can go to the website at 50womensofoptions.ca to make your donation. You'll be given a tax-deductible tax receipt from Options Community Society Services. June is Blood Donor Month, and their slogan is, "It is in you to give, and blood donation saves lives." So please roll up your sleeves and give your blood generously. Call Canadian Blood Services at 1-800-236-6283. Mindful Self-Compassion is an evidence-based training program designed to cultivate the skills of self-compassion. It is taking place on September 20th. It starts at 6:45 until 9 p.m. for 8 consecutive weeks, except for Thanksgiving Monday. To register, go to www.compassionsinspireshealth.com. June is PTSD Awareness Month. In Canada, 2.3% of population are dealing with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Support people suffering from PTSD. There are support groups for PTSD. Look for it in your cities. I support groups at 1-800-273-8255. If you're planning any events and you would like to promote it on our show, please send it at asianpulse@gmail.com. Don't forget to watch the Camilla Singh Show on Sundays at 5:30 and Mondays at 10 a.m. Fiji in Focus on every Tuesdays at 10 p.m. and again 4 p.m. on Sundays. VT Vibes, our youth show, at Thursdays at 10 p.m. and again on Sundays at 4:30. All our shows are aired in BC and Alberta. Keep watching these shows and please call us with your feedback. We have run out of time. Hope you have enjoyed it as much as I did bringing it to you. If you have any comments or suggestions, please give us a call or email us at asianpulse@gmail.com. If you want to support our show and become a sponsor or to promote your business, please let us know as well. Before I leave you with these thoughts. I consider human rights or activism to be a kind of spiritual practice. By defending people who are persecuted for their race, religion, ethnicity, or ideology, you are actually contributing to guiding your human family to peace, justice, and dignity. If you have missed Asian Pulse today, you can watch it again on Thursdays at 8:30 and Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. And Tuesdays at 3:30 a.m., our show will be uploaded on youtube.com/asianpulse.tv. I'm your host, Shivangni Naiker, signing off. See you all next week. Take care. and see you around.
दिल में है क्या कह न सकूं, कहे भी न सुन ले ये बातें सभी, हो के जुदा रह न सकूं, कहीं अब दूर न जाना कभी। मैं आसमां हूँ कि तू है सितारा मेरा, तू ही बता कैसे तुझ बिन रहूं। मैं हूँ समंदर के तू है किनारा मेरा, तू ही बता कैसे दूरी सहूं। दिल में है क्या कह न सकूं, कहे भी न सुन ले ये बातें सभी। मेरी हर धड़कन की है आरज़ू कि चाहूं तुझे यूं ही शाम